Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to a brand new guide. This one is going to be a banger, so you're definitely wanting to stick around for this one. So, how do I maximize my character during the week when I log in? Personally, this game doesn't really respect your time; it respects your wallet. It is what it is at the end of the day. You have to understand that, and if you're okay to accept that, it's a fantastic game. It has so much content, it has so much for you to do. But if you work a full time job like I do, it's hard to get on the game and just do everything during the week. So personally, this is what I do. If you want to go hit rocks for fucking 10 hours that day and craft, you're more than welcome. You can still progress your character just fine in that sense. But whenever you log in for the first time that week, personally, what I would do is I would instantaneously start running your daily dungeons. Your daily dungeons are extremely important for your character progression because you can get 7,500. I know it says 10. The most I've ever gotten is 7,500, and I've cleared all three rooms. That might change when we get more gear, but as of right now, I think this is the max at the moment. Now you can run 7 of these a week if you are completely free to play. You can run 7 of them. If you do have the membership, you can get an extra 7, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. You can actually go to the shop. You can go to the Wind Breeze Merchant, and then this will actually go. You go to the special. You can buy Odile Energy, which is for expedition runs, and then you can also run bio research. I would buy the soul crystals if you make extra Kina during that week. I'm just crafting like flight potions for extra money, so I have a little bit of extra on the side. But in terms of it, bio research based challenges, those will give you those daily dungeons that you can roll. If you're free to play, you get around 54 to 55k for the 7 runs. If you get 7,500 per run, and then obviously if you pay the membership, you get about 100,000. So next thing I would do instantaneously, I would jump right into your nightmare dungeons. You get about 14 of these a week. These are extrememely important for character progression. I did not take advantage of this the first week because I was busy doing all kinds of other content and doing other things. So this is one thing that I do regret not running. This is extremely important for PvE progression. Um, so for each one of these that you clear, it'll your first clear reward will go up. So 540, 560, 620. So these will get all the way up to 900 of these dream fragments. Personally, what I would do is I would just clear all 4 of these before I jump into the green, because I think these are going to get much harder later on. But if you go to their trade shop, this is actually where you're going to get your Divanian crystals for your PvE board. So if I go to my aerial board here, I'm going straight for flat PvE damage boost. Percent damage boost in this game is insanely broken. So would highly recommend rushing this. Even if you're a tank, I honestly think that this is probably more worth it than the damage tolerance, but I could be wrong. If somebody's ran the math on it, just leave that in the comments down below. Um, but other than that, yeah, that's how I get my PvE runes currently. I know that there's a couple of other ways to do it, but that's just how I get mine currently. Now, the next thing that I would do that kind of sucks, but it is very, very important, Shugo events. So Shugo events are very, very, very good for character progression because you're not really worried about the gear. I mean, the gear is good, realistically speaking. But what you're really, really after is going to be the Shugo coins. Those coins can actually unlock you a very special pet. So if you go to special down here in this tab, you can get this Shugo wandering merchant like animal. Is cute as shit. First of all, that's a W, but it will also then unlock your special genius insight without having to pay any money to get the mounts. What this will then do is we'll give you flat stats. So it'll give you attack, penetration, power damage bonus, crit, back attacks, straight PV attack as well. So really, really insane for damage. I'm gonna try to do these as much as possible, even though they're really annoying and my ping sucks, so I can't like get first place all the time. But again, I this is one of those things that I neglected, and again I regret. So I have like another 1,000 tokens, and I can get that pet. So really good there. Definitely do not leave that off the table. Now let's get down to like the 2 most important things that you can do during your week. Me personally, I think that Transcendence is absolutely broken. I think it's insane, absolutely disgusting to start running these, get up to as far as you can go as quick as possible. Currently, I'm gonna try to rush +6 before I start looting the box. Now, in terms of why this is so broken, is not only do you get Theostones, which are just buffs to your weapons that can do specific things like inflicting bind or seal, or even just doing flat damage. They also give you Arcana cards, and not only are Arcana cards extremely broken in terms of themselves, but the buffs that they give are disgusting. Like, actually disgusting. So if you go to your Arcana set here, and if I have another Primal, what I can do is I can run this set bonus, and that will just give me 60 flat PvE attack. That is like a fucking 5 or 6% increase on my attack when the boss is 70% more. When you're trying to clear these harder conquests and expedition dungeons, this flat damage is going to make a huge difference whether or not the boss enrages. You can also extract cards that you don't need. So if you want to extract cards, you can absolutely do that. So if you extract them here, you can run. This will then get you a mysterious crystal, which then you can transmute other cards. I'm kind of still messing with this a little bit, so I would have to run a little bit more dungeons to figure that out. I'll get that guide out as soon as possible when I start running these a little bit more. But that is one of the most broken dungeons you can do. I would suggest start looting the box around rank 5, I think, or rank 4. That's when you can start getting the higher level Theostones and then the better Arcana cards. I want to say it's rank. Okay, so it is actually rank 6 that you start getting blues. But don't worry about it. If you want to start looting the box at level 4, you can start looting the box at level 4. Absolutely, you can do that. That's completely fine. But the next thing that I would get into is definitely the next most important thing is I feel like people that go into expeditions and conquests are literally just looking for yellow gear to upgrade their stuff. That is, in my opinion, a big L because what you can actually do is if you press Alt J, there is deliveries that can happen every single week. I think the emergencies actually go every 48 or 72 hours. If you guys find that time difference, just please let me know. But I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. So please take a look at these. They can really get you a lot of extra gear score. So if you have like extra mats or anything like that, they have weeklies, they have seasonals. So, but how do I determine whether or not that gear was useful for delivery in that dungeon? So these pieces of gear, they all have this little weird question mark down at the bottom, and it took me a while to figure this out. Somebody actually in our Discord pointed this out a while ago, so shout out to them. Um, this little question mark actually means that it's able to be turned in for that delivery. So if I press Alt J and I go to my seasonal crafting, you can see the tomes here. Now I own 2 of them. I can put them in there, and then I can just get a 1,200 free abyssal tokens, which can not only be used for PvP gear, but if you're not a PvPer, that's completely fine. You can use them for Theostones, which are really nice. These are get you extra damage, or if you're not worried about that, Stigma shards, get yourself extra stigma levels, or you can get yourself a pair of wings. That's going to be more stats there. Insanely broken. I think they're insanely good. So make sure to take advantage of that for sure. And then make sure you're just claiming all your seasonal stuff. Everything that you do in the game, it's going to give you a reward. So, Transcendence, I just cleared one. This is going to give me 3 lesser chaining Arcana. So, bam. And they're going to give you these special oath coins. These can be used for all kinds of different stuff in the game. So take a look out for that for sure. It can get you energy. It can get like running more dungeons. It can get you all kinds of great stuff. And speaking of abyssal points, I've already talked about this in another video, but I'll go ahead and skim over it again. Run your portals every day. This is literally 5 to 15 minutes of your time. 5 minutes if you own 1 portal, 15 minutes if you own all 3. But it's at least at minimum if your class sucks at grinding at least 5 to 6k. On the higher end of the echelon of the characters, you can get 10 to 15k in 5 minutes. I've seen somebody get like 14 or 15k on a ranger in the middle, but I roughly average around 10 to 11k per 5 minutes, so about 15k. So that's literally half of a. I'm sorry, if you run all 3, that's 30, 35k abyss points right there. That's literally a ring or halfway to another accessory or a third of the way to a weapon. Pretty much a fourth of a way to a weapon. So a quarter of a way to a weapon. So if you do that for 4 days, you can afford a PvP weapon. So really stress do those, please. And then the last thing that you can do, if you're really struggling on Kina, you can run the Ascension Trials. This will give you, it's not going to give you 100. I think it gives you 25 for a run on easy. I think it gives you 30 or 35 on these. And say you're not hurting on Kina. Now, if you look at the question mark down there, I can turn these in for an extra bit of Abyss tokens. So, again, These are, you can only do these 3 times a week. I only have one left. I'm gonna end up running that after this. Just get myself some extra money because I just spent $1 million on getting fucking enhancement stones for my pets. So cannot stress that enough. Please, please, please do that. The last thing that I really want to talk about is your expedition runs. So obviously, a lot of people want a PVE. They want to get upgrades on their dungeons. So first things first, you want to make sure that you're looking at the dungeons that you're running. So let's look at Conquest. And let's say you're running Vakron Sky and you're trying to get a weapon. You can't run this. Like, yes, it will drop a guard, which is your offhand, but if you look at the actual awards here, it's all armor. So if you're trying to farm a weapon out, why are you trying to run this dungeon? You need to run Uruguga. This is gonna drop all of your weapons and the amulet, so or earring, sorry. But this is what's gonna drop your accessories and your weapons. So for just make sure that you're clicking the information bubbles, like it does tell you like what drops where, but it's so hard to like actually like go through and take a look, and it's so tedious because people just want to run their dungeons. They want to see it, but they're not clicking the information. So make sure that you do that because after 21 boxes, it'll guarantee you a loot. So really, really can't stress that enough. You can do these by running Odile, or you can actually open the boxes by getting Odile energy, and you can always see when you're going to get the next set. So 1 hour and 22 minutes, I'm going to get 15 extra energy. I think this refreshes every 2.5 hours, and you get 15 every 2.5 hours. So rough around 100 I think 100 a day, I want to say. So now you can also buy more energy, like I said, in the shop. But another thing that people don't realize is that these tickets over here to actually run these conquests, they actually differ from exploration. So if you have a shit ton of energy that week, these conquests and these expeditions or explorations, sorry. If you look here, I have 7 out of 7, so I'm maxing my explorations, but my conquests, I have 8 out of 21. So I have another run. These actually separate themselves. So you can actually run up to 15 dungeons if you have the energy for it. Uh, Typically, I think energy is best spent on Conquest dungeons and then the Transcendence dungeons. But that is a completely different guide for a different day on how to spend your energy. Because I don't really have much more of it left today. So we're not going to get into that. But I really hope this guide helped you guys. If it did, if you learned something new today, please leave a like and a comment down below on what you learned. If you guys have any extra things that I left out that you think that was a very important step that I missed, please again leave a comment down below. I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys have been absolutely insane on the feedback and the love that I've been given. My subs have been skyrocketing. The content that I produce, you guys are saying that is very good. The amount of love I'm receiving, it's really inspiring me to make these videos every day. And I'm going to try to pump out as many guides as I physically can. But again, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys did like it, please leave a like and a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.